Steve, Canadian Sasquatch, coming at you with another Mead Monday. That's right, week 2 of Mead Mondays, where I will go over a mead and answer some of your guys' questions that you've come up with. So let's jump right into it. Today's mead that we're going to be going over is from Enchanted Manor Meadery, which is from here in Texas. They're the ones that first got me into mead up at the Texas Renaissance Fair. You can only get their meads through the Texas Renaissance Fair. And today we are going to do their Bochet style. So slow cooked caramelized honey wine. This is the one time where you should be heating your honey, and that's to make the Bochet. So produced and bottled by Enchanted Manor Meadery. Our Bochet gets its characteristic flavor and amber coloration by slow cooking the honey for 48 hours prior to fermentation. Each batch is racked 3 times to promote clarity and improve flavor. I like that. The process is slowly burning the honey, gives it the Bochet a full caramel-like flavor with undertones of berry. It finishes bittersweet with notes of dark chocolate and coffee. So without any further ado, let's crack this open. So yeah, I have made a Bochet before. I didn't slow roast it though. I boiled the honey for an hour to get it the color that I wanted. And yeah, so this, I have had an older version of this one before. Like I said, this is what got me into mead. Yeah, they have their logo on their cork. That's pretty cool. So let's do this. Let's pour a lovely amber, like they mentioned. Oh yeah, that's a lovely amber color. It's not quite crystal clear, but not too shabby. So yeah, not too shabby. Looks great. We'll get some aroma on this. So yeah, I do get that cooked honey aroma on it. A little bit of the caramel toffee, but some of that original wildflower honey does come through. Yeah, I craft it from 100% Texas wildflower honey. I don't know if I mentioned 10.5%. But yeah, it smells good. As the bubbles dissipate, it does seem to be a little bit clearer than first thought, but still not crystal clear, but definitely better than the last one. So let's give this a taste. Cheers, everybody. So it is slightly carbonated, which explains the bubbles. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be, but it is not a bad thing. It tastes very nice like that. I do get the caramel, I do get the dark chocolate flavors happening. I do get the sweetness from the honey coming through. Very little hint of the alcohol. Yeah. That is very pleasant. So yeah, let's go through the scoring. So label, it's a nice label. The only thing missing on it is when was it made, when was it bottled. So I'm going to give that a 1 out of 2. The aroma, very pleasant. Definitely getting some of that toffee and caramel, the sweet cooked honey aromas on that. So that's going to get a 8, I think. The appearance, I'd like it to be a little bit more clear, but the color is gorgeous. It leaves nice legs. I'm going to give it a 7. So the flavor, again, just a nice sweet, light toffee caramel, and then in the back of your throat you get some of that bitter chocolates. It is a very tasty one. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 as well. The overall impression is it's really good. Nice color, nice legs, very pleasant aroma. Tastes great. Could just sit down and I could totally sit down and drink the whole bottle, but my beautiful bride would be very mad because this is one of her favorites as well. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 8. So yeah, overall score 32 out of 42. That's a very pleasant mead indeed. So for those of you up in here in Texas, go to the Texas Renaissance Fair and get you some. It's only been recently that you can actually buy this in stores now, so maybe if you find it in a store, go ahead and grab a bottle. It is a pleasant Bochet, which is the caramelized honey meads. All right, on to part 2 of Mead Monday, where I answer your questions. So right here we have question number 1. Sean O'Brien asked, you made an orange mead, which doesn't really have that much orange flavor in it. After the first and second stage of fermentation is done, he currently has it in a 3-gallon carboy and was wondering if there's anything you could do to get more orange flavor out of it. Orange is not a very strong flavor. Sure, you bite into an orange and it's like, oh, orange. But when you water it down, you lose that very quickly. The way you want to add orange flavor to essentially anything when you're cooking or baking or whatever is you want to add orange zest. That's where a lot of the flavor comes from for oranges. So what you want to do, take an orange, you want to wash it very well, take off any stickers or whatever, and then you're going to take just a potato peeler, carrot peeler, and you want to grab the zest off of it just by running the carrot peeler across it. So you leave behind the white part, that's the pith, and you just want the zest, which is the orange here. So it is nothing but orange peel. And like right now, this room smells like orange just from doing just that little tiny bit. And what I like to do is essentially the zest of 1 orange per gallon, and put it in secondary. It's the alcohol that will pull out the flavors much more rapidly than just letting it soak. At which point you will, after about a week, you'll want to taste it to see where it is. If it's anywhere close where you want it to be, then you want to taste it like every other day or so. You don't want to use too much because you'll get some phenolics like Band-Aids, medicinal flavors and aromas happening from it. It's the same with grapefruit. If you use grapefruit, it actually has more phenols in it, which causes those off flavors and aromas. So you want to be right on it to make sure when it hits where you want the flavors to be, that you pull the zest out. So rack off of the zest, or put the zest like in a little mesh bag or something like that. So yeah, that's how you add more orange to your mead, or anything really. And now for question number 2 from Kevin Clements over at Clements Homebrew. He asked, how important is holding temperature when you're making mead? It's quite important, but only to a certain degree, pun intended. You just like to be cozy They don't like to be too cold, because if they're too cold, they'll hibernate and fall out of suspension, and they won't be doing anything because they're being lazy and sleeping. On the flip side of all that, if they're too warm, then they'll start to overheat and start giving off flavors and whatnot. You can kind of think of it as the yeast are heating up. And what do humans do when we heat up? We sweat. So you're getting smelly yeast sweat in the mead if it's too warm. That's essentially how it works. And yeah, nobody wants smelly sweat in their beverages. I mean, we don't even really want that on ourselves, so why would we want to drink the yeast sweat? No. So keeping the temperature at what the manufacturers suggest is ideal, so you avoid both the falling out of suspension because they're hibernating and the off flavors caused by the yeast sweat. The other thing is if it goes too much higher, then it can also cause the yeast to die. And again, if they're dead, they're not going to be doing their job because they're being lazy because they're dead. So yeah, keep the yeast happy. Once the fermentation is done, though, and you've racked off of the lees and the yeast cake and all that, then temperature control is not as crucial. Essentially because, well, the yeast are done, they're not going to produce any more off flavors or anything of the like, and we can then move forward to aging and such. And way back when, they discovered, when they created their wine cellars, that the perfect aging temperature is like about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 10 degrees Celsius, which they've discovered that wines will age nicely because they don't age too fast, so you don't lose your bottles of wine too quickly. They don't age too slowly, so they actually have time to mature and all that at that temperature. So yeah, if it's cooler than the 50 degrees, then it's going to take a lot more time to age the flavors and let them mellow and combine and all that. If it's too warm, if it's a lot warmer than that, then the aging process will happen quicker, which means we can actually start drinking the meads quicker. So room temperature for what we're doing is pretty much ideal because it allows us to age the meads in the carboys and whatnot, and lets all those flavors meld together, mellow and all that, and we can start drinking it sooner. Once we bottle it, though, we will want to cellar it. Again, not crucial. It'll just age a little bit quicker than if it wasn't at those temperatures. Boom! Mead Monday, week 2 in the books. We are done. Like I said, these are all about you guys giving me questions. So hit me up in the comments down below with a question, or hit me up on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thecanadiansasquatch, or on Twitter at Canada Sasquatch. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button down there as well if you've liked the video. Also, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And while you're hitting that subscribe button, there's a button that looks like a bell right beside it. If you hit that, you'll be notified every time I post a video. That way you can continue to receive the content that I'm providing to you guys. And with that, my friends, be sure to have a pint of awesome, because I know I will. Cheers, everybody.